Hello, this is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope that you all had a great day or maybe a night. I don't know. I have so many people out there from all different areas of the world. I got some people in India. Hello. So all over. I don't have very many people in my area, so I do have more people far away. Every time I reach out to somebody on like my Facebook, which, before I even finish that, is if you do want to get a hold of me on Facebook, you can by looking up Kathy with a K, Dingman, and Starlight, or Instagram at 1995 Starlight. So anyway, I have a lot of times I do reach out to, mainly it's been guys. Sometimes I do talk to girls, but then I find out they're a fake. I don't know. Some scamming me, trying to scam me. But anyway, a lot of times when I do communicate with the guys, it's like, where do you live? What's the weather like? So a lot of them live far away, where, I couldn't drive there to go visit them at all. I would love to visit, but yeah, it's a long distance. So like I actually talked to a guy, he's in Africa, so it's something. You never know. That's why it's so good we have this technology that we can communicate to people all over the world. So I am grateful. There's good and bad with it. You have to use it wisely. Don't let it control you. You want to control it. So anyway, I hope all of you are taking good care of yourself. Make sure you're eating healthy. I'm going to be like either sister or mom to you. A lot of you are my family. I really don't have any. I do have a friend out there, but I really don't have a whole lot of friends out there. But anyway, what I want to reach out to you is if you're a parent, or if you're single. Maybe you're out there and maybe you're trying to hook up with a girl or a guy, depending on who you are. I do have women and men out here. So this is mainly for people that either are single, that maybe they do want to get hooked up with somebody and, maybe be a father figure or a mother figure. So or this is for people that are parents already, whether you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or if you're married, a husband or a wife. So what I want to reach out to you all is that I have a huge heart for all of you, number one, and I want to really do a lot of videos for parenting and make sure the kids are safe. That's the reason why I really started this YouTube channel, is because I've gone through hell in my life, and I really want to help the little ones out, even the teenagers. I have a big huge heart for teenagers. We have to look out for those teenagers out there, or the young men and women out there. They're just starting out, and what I've learned, and you've probably seen this yourself, and it's hard to say, I don't know how it is out in other countries, but I'm in the United States, and in my country, the teenagers are the target. Everybody's after those teenagers. And even when I left my parents' home at 16, people were after me. They were waiting for people like young girls and young boys, that were homeless, didn't have a home, didn't have a place to stay. A lot of people were up to no good, and like when I was 16, I didn't know any of that stuff, but I was in a very abusive home, and I needed to leave my parents' home to keep myself alive, because I was going through so much as a teenager, all through my whole childhood. So I had to leave at 16 because, because of the abuse. I was very suicidal at the age of 10. because I couldn't handle what was going on. I wasn't safe in school either. I was always being called names, so I hated school. I hated home, so I didn't have, the outdoors. The nature was my safe place, with the animals, So anyway, when I started out, I didn't have anywhere to move. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I had to leave my parents' home. It wasn't exactly the way I was planning it. I was planning on leaving before I turned, when I got 16, but it was before I turned 16 when I was on my own. And so that's why it's so important to understand that you need to make sure you're taking really good care of your teenagers. Like if you are, I know a lot of people out there, you might actually do marijuana, and I really don't have a problem with marijuana. I've smoked marijuana most of my life on and off, whether if I could afford it. And there's times when I was going to church, I wasn't smoking it. And then I restarted it years later after I got out of church, so I didn't have any problem with marijuana, but the kind of drugs that I'm really talking about is like meth or crack, cocaine. There's a lot of people that take pills. So those are the kind of drugs I'm talking about, or LSD. I've done that before. I've done crack before. I've done cocaine before. I actually, when I was younger, I got hooked up on crack a little bit because I didn't know anybody, and I got kind of stranded in a town. I didn't know anybody, and the only people I knew were crackheads. And but I had a daughter at that point. I didn't really know nothing about drugs at 16. I wasn't really being taught that in school. I never made it to high school. So, but what I did is, because I love my daughter so much, is I actually turned myself in and looked for help. I knew I needed help because I loved my daughter so much. I didn't want my daughter taken away from me. So I did. I went to welfare, and I said, hey, these are the only people I know. I'm here all on my own. And I was like 17 or 18 at the time. And they ended up getting counseling for me at a church, and I can't remember. It was an old man that was at a Catholic church, and whatever he told me, he helped me, and I got free from that, from being on crack. And I was so paranoid before that time. I mean, like, I was ducking around behind cars because I was so high, thinking that the cops could see me everywhere I went. And so I love my daughter so much that I turned myself in and got help and got clean. And so anyway, I want to reach out to you and make sure, that you're not doing those kind of drugs, because I know a lot of parents out there, they do extra kind of drugs, sometimes like heroin. I never did that. I would never do needles. I don't like needles even when I get a shot from my doctor, So I never did that kind of drug. And so I do know that people do struggle out there, or even take pills, so really I really want to encourage you, like, if you are, or maybe you're not even doing that kind of stuff. Maybe you're smoking cigarettes. I really want to encourage you to please, for your kids, like, to try to seek some help, where you can be clean from that, because I care not only about your kids, but about your health. I do have some people that I knew in the past that this one particular person that really helped. He was like an angel in my life at one point when I used to be homeless, because I didn't have anybody helping me out, but he gave me work, and he gave me a lot of extra money for the job that I did. I worked really hard for my money, but like, I would give him rides, and he helped me out. Gave me a lot of money for giving him a ride somewhere, and he had the money. But at that time, he was like an angel sent to me. And yep, so anyway, is you really want to make, he actually, that's the whole reason why I was bringing it up, is that at that time when I was seeing him, not that I was seeing him, he was just a friend at that point, is that he had to, I was bringing him to doctor appointments because he had something all messed up with his throat because of smoking cigarettes. And it, like it about took his life because of having an addiction of smoking cigarettes. So he really took it serious. He started quitting. He had to. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been alive. Maybe it was like throat cancer or something like that, whatever he had. And I got to see how he changed, just because of smoking cigarettes. So he'll never smoke another cigarette again, which he had to go in and out of the hospital a lot and getting different help with his doctor. So anyway, you really want to think about your health, like in your future with your kids, and you don't want to be in a bad example to your kids, or even vapes. I've never done vapes. I actually had people that try to get me, even though they know, why would you try to get me to do a vape when I don't even smoke cigarettes. So I did. I couldn't believe somebody tried to get me to do a vape. It's like, that's kind of backwards, I'm clean now. Why would I want to go backwards and like kind of go back to smoking something that's not even healthy for me anyway? Like I said, I did like my marijuana, and I don't do that. So that, to me, that was the safest thing. The only biggest problem I had with smoking marijuana is I would forget where my cup of water went. It's like I was always drinking. I had to drink a lot of water when I would smoke marijuana. So I forgot a lot of things. I had to write a lot of sticky notes and signs around. Actually, it was so funny with the water issues that I had water in each room. That way I couldn't forget any of them, but I would actually go in the kitchen, go get a fresh cup of water, a glass of water, and then would be so high from the marijuana, I would dance to music, go in another room, and I'm like, I thought I just got a cup of water, a glass of water, and I'm like, where is that glass of water? And it was always in the kitchen, and it might not even have any water in it. So that was the biggest thing that I found with marijuana. So marijuana was my favorite drug. It felt like the safest. But to warn you that things can happen. I've, with marijuana, I've had some funny things that did happen to me. I say funny, but you can actually go into different dimensions with that stuff if you know what you're doing. And I used it as like a medicine, like medicine that I was using, like a to get information is how I was using marijuana. But if you do smoke marijuana, the whole point I brought the marijuana thing is like when I smoked when my kids were younger, especially with my daughter, she didn't know that her mommy was smoking. I did it privately. I didn't let my daughter know that her mom, when she went to bed, that mommy was getting high with marijuana, so she never knew. So most of my family actually now does smoke pot, so doctors even prescribe it these days because it does help people to calm their nerves down a lot, so that was the safest thing that I've ever done for drugs. So I'm not knocking at that. I'm just saying it's probably best not to do it in front of your kids, unless they're old enough and they're doing it themselves anyway. But, there's safety issues on that, that if your kids, when they do get old enough to smoke it, or even, some of them start even younger, is to make sure they're responsible, make sure they're, if they have a job, make sure, hey, go to work, don't go to work high, don't, get high and drive your car, that's not very good. I did it before. I would go at a red light and look both ways and like, oh, it's clear, I can go now. And yeah, so you definitely do not want to, some people do it and it doesn't faze them one bit at all. They can, I did notice though when I was driving high that I did exactly what the speed limit said. I did not go 5 over because, you don't want to get caught doing something like speeding. So, anyway, besides drugs, the things that you don't want to do or things that are okay, and really pot could make somebody lazy, and that's why it's so important that they learn responsibilities. I never had that problem because I got so much energy and I'm not a lazy person, but it could make somebody just want to mellow out the whole day and not even clean their house. So I was very responsible. I took care of all my stuff, and then I'm like, hey, it's smoke time, So, if you ever do smoke or even try to smoke, like I said before, I actually used it as a way of getting information. And that's why I really liked it, is it did help me out with my spiritual awakening, It really did. It got me to think differently. And that was the biggest reason why I liked marijuana when I did smoke it. And now we're going to talk about alcohol, and, like with your kids with the pot, though, you do want to educate them the right way about that. And not to, like if you know anything about marijuana, the do's and don'ts, especially when you're starting out, you don't want to smoke a whole joint first thing. Yeah, that could mess things up a little bit. Like you get too stoned. You don't want to have your, starting out to take too many hits. You might not really like it then. It might kind of scare you. So anyway, you do, if your kids are young and they're old enough and they are starting out, if you are a smoker, that is, not everybody's into smoking pot. I was definitely like a free spirit when I was like a hippie when I was younger. So, I would have been running around naked, So, anyway, when it comes to alcohol, this is a very, just as like with drugs, is, even when I was younger with my daughter, I was 16, 17, had her, got pregnant when I was 16, had her when I was 17, so I was still, a kid having a kid, and so I did drink beer. I can't say I didn't when I had my daughter growing up, but hey, I wasn't learning anything at my house when I was growing up. My mom, they had parties all the time when I was growing up. They had friends over, beer, wine, that was a normal, my mom even gave us wine at the table. My mom loved her wine. So I didn't have any good examples at my house growing up as a kid as far as alcohol goes. My parents didn't do drugs or cigarettes, but they did like their beer or wine. My mom liked her wine. So, with when it comes to alcohol with your kids, like what I did a lot is, I did the same thing what I did with my marijuana. My daughter didn't know that her mom was actually partying when she went to bed. I would have like a couple of friends and, we would have like beer or wine coolers, and I would get high with my marijuana at those years. And my daughter was sleepy, when she went to sleep, she was out for the rest of the night, She never even would wake up and go to the bathroom at night. So it was my time, when I had my daughter, when she was little. I didn't do that through my whole time with my kids. It was just when I started out. So, and then after that, really, they never saw, I never did, after I started going to church, I never did that again, until I got older, like when they were already out of the house. So when it comes to alcohol, you really want to, I'm not saying that you can't drink in front of your kids, but, they're going to really want to do that, like my parents did. And hey, I was, allowed to drink beer or wine. They didn't have any problem with that. So, With your kids, though, if you do have beer or wine or any kind of liquor, it is really best to have it locked up somewhere, because they're kids, like when my parents, they might have not have smoked cigarettes, but when my parents got divorced and I had a stepmother, well, my stepmother smoked cigarettes and my aunt smoked cigarettes. So kids will be kids, they're going to sneak into stuff, and they're going to steal, they're like, I wonder what that cigarette tastes like, or wonder what that drink tastes like. I would like to get drunk like my mom or my dad, have a little buzz, kids are like that. So you really have to make sure you're being wise about your alcohol, and I know like a lot of you might want beer and it might be in the refrigerator, but you might have to, count them, make sure that your kids are not sneaking them out of the house, because they're gonna be tempted. Not all kids, but most of them will, they might steal from you and sneak them out of the house or even drink it when you're gone, and hide evidence. That's what I did when I was a kid. We used to steal food when our parents left, and we used to throw peanut butter containers out in the bushes somewhere, and then our parents would find it. Wonder how the peanut butter container got out in the woods, So, they found it eventually. So they're going to want to get into alcohol, and especially if it's liquor, it gets you there quicker, they say, and it does. I can't handle that stuff. I'm like I would have like maybe 3 glasses and I'm done. But I would be the goofy kind of person. I get goofy if I get drinking. Yeah, I'm the life of the party kind of chick. But I don't drink anymore either. But that's how I was unless it really got me really bad with heartburn. That's a different story. Or if I drink too much, that's not good. So anyway, when it comes to alcohol, you definitely want to, like have it locked up, have it where they don't know about it. Kids are sneaky. Make sure they don't know where the key is, if you do have it locked up. And the other thing I want to make sure is that, how about medications? Do you have like, a lot of times they have laws. I can't remember what the name of them are now because I used to work with handicapped people, but they have a law that if you have certain kind of drugs, they're supposed to be locked up, so then your kids do not get into them. But what about other medications that you have laying around in your cabinet? Kids are really sneaky. I was. The reason why I want to mention that is that a lot of kids, whether you know this, if they're going through abuse as a kid, there's a couple of reasons what they might want to do. And I did this when I was a kid, is I did try to kill myself at the age of 10. And so I did. I went in my parents' cabinet, and at those days, people weren't worried about medicines in their cabinets in the bathrooms or wherever. So I did. I tried to take my, I didn't give a shit what it was. I'm sorry. I didn't care what the medication was. I didn't even know how to read really that good to know what those names were on the medicines. But, I did. I tried to take a whole bunch of pills that I didn't know nothing about, to end my life at the age of 10. So those are things that your kids might try to do if you don't really, if they're being abused somehow or another. You might not even know it. A lot of people are together with somebody, and, how do you know what your wife is doing to your kids, or what your husband or what your grandpa or grandma are doing, or other relatives, or your babysitters, or your own brothers or sisters, because I came from a family where everybody was abusing me pretty much, friends of the family, relatives, brothers. Not my sister though. She was handicapped, so I didn't have to worry about her. But you really need to protect your kids at all cost. It's I'm gonna always encourage you. Get some hidden cameras. They got cameras out there that don't look like cameras. Fire alarms. They have. Sometimes it might be like a toy, an alarm clock. They have cameras out there where you can make sure, if you suspect something with your kids, if they're behaving a certain way and you don't know why, and a lot of kids even could be suicidal just because they go to school and maybe they're being bullied, and if you're not the kind of parent that will talk and communicate and see how their day went. I wasn't allowed to complain about what was going on in my school when I was growing up. They didn't want to hear me, and I was being called a retard all the time growing up, either at home by my dad or my brothers or even at school. So, that stuff will, like a lot of kids, whether you know this or not, they will rewind that stuff in their minds, and then they will start feeling bad. And if they're not being in a good home that's healthy for them, they might want to end their life, to end the pain. So you really need to make sure that your kids are being safe. Like make sure that there's no kind of medication out there. And I don't know if you can kill yourself or get high on different things like headache pills. If you took enough of them, there could be something that could happen. Or, you got to be careful where your kids go, like maybe you don't have any drugs at your house to be worried about, or maybe they're all picked up in a safe spot. But what if they go to their grandpa's house and their grandma's house? Is there drugs there? Because kids aren't stupid. I've actually known people also that will go in people's homes and check out what's in their bathrooms to see if they can find drugs to sell. They might learn from their kids from school that, hey, or even to get a drug that looks similar to a drug, and try to sell it to make money, $5 here, $5 here. And it could really kill somebody, if they don't know what they're doing. So you really need to make sure, like medications and stuff like that are locked up, because you never know if you don't talk to your kids and communicate, and if you shut them out when they try to talk and tell you stuff, then they might not even go to you and tell you what's going on, so you do want to have open communication at all times with your kids. And if you don't have time, let them know in a nice way. Don't yell at them and say, hey, get the heck out of here, I'm busy right now. But you want to communicate with them and let them know that right now mommy or daddy are busy right now. I will, when I get done, when I get finished, I will talk to you later, because what you got to say is very important to me, and I do want to hear you out. You need to make sure you are hearing your kids, because kids will. They, if your kids are watching bad movies and stuff, they could get bad ideas. I didn't really have bad movies when I was growing up, but I was through so much pain that I did want to end my life. It's not like my mom and dad were watching bad movies to make me think that way. It's just that, man, if you ever knew the stuff that was happening, and all the time, being little, like I believe probably when I was in, might have been like in third grade or even younger, things started happening. So you definitely want to protect your little ones and your bigger ones, because they're if they are going through something, or maybe they went through a breakup, sometimes kids will want to end their life because the pain is so intense, like having their heart broken. So you really need to pay attention to your kids, or something embarrassing could have happened in school and maybe all the kids found out about it, and maybe they don't want to talk to you. Maybe you're always yelling at them, and maybe you're telling them to get out of here or whatever, and you need to make sure that you're always there and available, and find out how they're doing in school, and if you have shut them out, you can always, you always can turn that around and open up the door and turn it around and start talking to them, communicate with them. So anyway, I really hope you get a lot of help from this, because I do. I really love the kids so much. I want 10. Give me 10 or more kids, I would love to have a lot of babies, all different ages. I have so much love for them, and And even though I don't, your kids, I love all little kids. I'm always, when I go into the grocery store, I'm always like, I always got to check everybody's babies out and make little faces at them or smile at them or something. Because I can't have any more kids by myself right now. Of course, I don't have a man. So anyway, because of my age, So yeah, I wanted to have lots of babies. I know a lot of people thought I was crazy when I told them that, and even my doctor. You want kids at 50? Yeah, why not? I did. But anyway, I hope you really get a lot of help from these videos. And if you please, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments down below, leave a comment. And if you ever want to reach out to me, you can get in touch with me at Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. You can always reach me there. And anyway, I hope you're taking really good care of your kids. Make sure you keep those things locked up. And if you just if you love them, please protect them, because you won't have them very long. They grow up very fast, believe me. I was very sad when mine left the nest, So anyway, this is Starlight. I love all of you so much. Love and light. Peace.